I work with a human rights organization. It's called Christian Peacemaker Teams. We have been monitoring trials against people who are accused of smuggling and human trafficking. The people who are accused of smuggling, or like they are not like heads of smuggling mafias or something like that. It's people who are on the boat and who drive the boat, or whom the police or the Coast Guard or the Frontex assume that they have driven the boat. What's common among most of them is that they are poor, they are students, they are migrants who couldn't afford paying for the travel to the Aegean Islands. So the Coast Guard, the Greek Coast Guard or the Frontex picks the migrants up, and then they usually try to recognize who was driving the boat. If you are a Turkish citizen, you are automatically, for example, accused of being the smuggler or like the driver of the boat. Then you are in prison waiting for your trial up to 1 year for the first trial. And during that time, you usually don't have access to lawyer. So in the first trial, like people are giving a right to lawyers like maybe 10 minutes before the trial or 20 minutes before the trial. So they don't have, they have very poor possibilities to defend themselves. Then they are given huge, like very high sentences, like 120 years in prison, or like 90 years or 40 years. The maximum time for people like to be imprisoned or confined in Greece is 25 years, and the punishment for people who are accused of smuggling or charged with smuggling, it's higher than murder in Greece. It's more serious to drive a boat which carries migrants than to the Greek islands than murdering people. We have a case, for example, of a guy who was a construction worker, and he broke his leg during his work. So he was working in a cafe, and because he couldn't do his construction work anymore, they approached him and they told him, okay, we give you 5,000 euros if you drive this boat to the other side. And this 5,000 euros would help him to pay back all his debts, to get married with his girlfriend. So he said, yeah, why not? So he did it, and he was, of course, he didn't know that he would be in prison for 25 years and all those kinds, and he would be giving like huge fines. The EU and the Greek government and all those who are involved, they want to make a statement. They want to show the Europeans that, oh, they are catching the smugglers, but like the big smugglers, they don't arrest them. We have also a case of someone who was in prison for like 13 months in Chios. He was on a boat with 100 people, with 100 people, and the boat was capsizing. He was the only one who spoke English. So he contacted his friend in Thessaloniki, who then contacted the Coast Guard to come and rescue 100 people. So he is a hero. Like, he rescued, by making this his phone call, he rescued his own life and the lives of 100 people. What the Coast Guard did was that they arrested him and they put him in prison. He was a political dissident. He's a Kurdish activist from Diyarbakir. He had a sentence on him in Turkey for 15 years. So they didn't have anything to accuse him of. They were saying, okay, like you have been assisting people to cross a border illegally, by making this phone call. So this was the last charge they were trying to accuse him of. But he was released at last, luckily. So this is one of the very few cases that I know of which the verdict has been to release the person. Yeah, I have seen people coming here with hope, with a big smile and with a lot of positive energy. And then I see them breaking down in this confinement, like they are met with a policy of systematic confinement. We had another case. He's an Afghan guy, and he couldn't afford paying for the trip from the other side of the Aegean to the Greek Aegean islands for himself and for his wife. And they offered him, like, if you drive this boat to the other side and return it, you get a free ride to the other side with your wife. So what happened was that he was captured and he was separated from his wife. So when I saw him the last time, first I met him in prison, and then we were at his trial. So his wife was there, and like he had been in prison for 4 years by then, and it was an appeal court. He was given the highest possible sentence, like 130,000 euros or something, and then maybe 90 years in prison. But he will be in prison for 25 years. The sentences against people who are accused of smuggling have become higher and higher. I mean, they are also criminalizing people who are like aiding people in distress in the sea. It's heading to a very horrible direction, which is like criminalizing even aiders. It's not only about smugglers. Like they want to stop the migration of people from the exploited, colonized world. Like that's what they are trying to do. So everything which will prevent their policies, they will try to criminalize. And our job is to stop this. For Europeans, the world is open. There are no borders for them. There is a Swedish Iranian poet. Her name is Athena Farrokhzad, and she says, if you don't feel fear when you cross a border, you don't cross a border. The borders are not for people from Western Europe and from North America. It's for everyone else. It's for us with Iraqi passports, with Ghanan passports, with other passports. The borders are for us. They are here to prevent us from having like freedom of movement, and all those prisons and policies and stuff like that. They are there to keep those borders strong and high, and to prevent us from moving on this whole beautiful earth which belongs to all of us. I saw how the North Macedonian police and the Greek police, how they were treating migrants with tear gas and rubber bullets. And I saw so many people who got injured in front of my eyes. And I saw kids inhaling tear gas. I was expecting the anti-racist movement in Europe and also normal people in Europe to react, And I feel very disappointed that there is not more solidarity from common people in Europe with migrants and with the fortification of European borders. I feel very disappointed that racism is growing and there is no revolution rising. Like, I feel very disappointed because this is happening to everyone. This is affecting people from Africa and Middle East and other places outside the borders of the rich world. But it's also affecting you. Today it's us, but tomorrow it's going to be everyone.